Good morning. It is day 28 out of 30, building and launching an AI app in public using Lovable. The project that I'm working on is a lead magnet generator. So I can put in any video from TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube in order to generate a piece of valuable content, which is either going to be a checklist, a quiz, or a PDF guide, which can be placed below that video and given away in exchange for an email. We're on day 28 of 30 and we are pretty much done. Thankfully, because we're running out of time, and I'm going to be launching to my newsletter for the beta test on Saturday. So if you do want to get access, you want to play around with it, you want to give me feedback, that'd be really useful. Make sure you are signed up for the newsletter. The link is in my bio. It's totally free, and on Saturday I'll be sending out instructions on how to access it. So what we're doing for the next few days is basically just tidying up for that beta test. There will obviously be things that are wrong, there will obviously be things that could be done better, but that is the purpose of the beta test, getting it out into the hands of real people who can then tell me what's good and what sucks. Because once I know that, I can make changes based on their feedback rather than what I think is going to be good, if that makes sense. So let's have a look. What are we doing? What are we doing? We are, where are we? So yesterday, what did we do yesterday? Let's have a look at this. The problem is I'm also working on a number of other vibe coding projects at the same time, so everything is jumbled together. I've just heard that Claude Code is coming to a mobile app as well, so there's going to be, I can never stop. So thumbnail with, okay, so we added, I remember now, we added the thumbnail into the PDF guide. What I need to do, because we need to get all of this working for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube is pretty solid. But what we need to do is, how do we get to our dashboard? There it is. Can you see the thumbnails for YouTube? Yep, that's absolutely fine. It creates them. We can view the lead magnets. Oh, that's a concern. I need to come back and look at that in a minute. Has it not saved my lead magnets? I guess we're going to be fixing that, whatever that is. But also, the Instagram thumbnails have not been pulled in here. TikTok, let's have a look. TikTok has also not been pulled in, but my scrapers do grab the thumbnails. So we just need to make sure that they are assigned. And then for the PDF guide, which I'm failing to look at or see because it's 404ing, so we'll fix that in a moment. The video is also embedded into that as well. So got a couple of things to do. I'm going to use my voice to talk to my vibe coding tool. Hey Lovable, couple of things. First up, I need to fix the Instagram and TikTok thumbnails. They are not appearing in the dashboard when we create a lead magnet using Instagram or TikTok, but I know they're coming through the Appify scrapers, so I know the content is there. We just need to make sure it renders. Now both of those thumbnails will be 9 by 16. Instead of 16 by 9, so we need to adjust the design of the dashboard as well to allow for those. And then the second thing is, which we'll deal with separately, the PDF guide lead magnets do not seem to be saving to the dashboard. When I click view lead magnet, I'm getting a 404 page not found. But let's deal with one at a time. Thanks. Good morning, TikTok. Do you have a Sora code? I do not have Sora codes, but head to, if you go to AI with Kyle, it's my website, and either scroll down to the bottom and you'll see Sora code guide. Oh, sorry, this is a website. This was the other website that I'm building. I'm building it. I was up until about midnight yesterday building it. So if you go to aiwithkyle.com/Sora code guide here, this has a number of ways to get into it depending on where you are and what device you have. So if you have an iPhone and you're in the USA, there's a nice easy way to do it and you don't even need a code. If you're outside the USA or you're on Android, then there's a method and places to get a code here. So head over to aiwithkyle.com/Sora code guide, and I need to fix this at the bottom. This has also been vibe coded and I finished it at about midnight last night, so I'm still working on this. This I'm building with Cursor though, instead of Lovable. But sorry, I have used up all of my Sora codes. I only had 4. So I can't give you one. Sorry, I had 6, but I've given them all away now. I'll fix the Instagram and TikTok thumbnail display and adjust the design for 9 by 16. So 16 by 9 is what you're used to. It's the kind of like a film, a rectangle that way, which is horizontal video. So most YouTube videos, for example, are that kind of shape, roughly. Whereas 9 by 16 is like this. It is vertical video. I could have equally said I need to adjust it for vertical video. I could have even said, and I want it to look good. And the vibe coding tool would have been able to work out what I meant. But I've just made it a bit easier. The more you know the precise language, the better you're able to communicate with a vibe coding tool. And this is why knowing how to code and knowing a little bit about the technology is actually really useful, because you can speak the language that the AI understands. Otherwise, it all becomes a bit vague, with just me saying things like, oh, the bit at the top, can you change the bits on the side so that they look better? Like, what does that mean? The AI needs to do a lot more work to determine what it is you actually want to do. Whereas if you have the language to say, hey, the hero section at the top, I want to add more white space on in the borders, etc. You're able to use the actual language that it understands. Right, here we go. I'll fix the Instagram now display. So we're going to go ahead and look at that. Oh, yes, sorry, Amir, I do not have a code, but if you go to my website, you'll be able to find guides that tell you how to get them. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull in a TikTok video. This would do. You can see me teasing my friend Will's video here. I commented, bro, give me a Sora code, bro, Sora code. So everyone, all of us content creators, and oh, invalid YouTube. Did I put it in the YouTube thing? Ooh, what's going on? Got problems. TikTok. That's new. Let's do it from here. Okay, so that's only my front dashboard. This is why we need beta testers, because they will bump into all of these problems and help me fix it. So I'm going to create, so your lead magnet ideas are ready. I'm going to create this one. So this is taken the video here and it has grabbed the transcript and it has used that to generate a lead magnet. And then from there, we can generate a landing page. So what I'm going to do is see if that is saved properly. No, that is not saved. Interesting. Okay, so we've got a couple of issues here. Right, okay, we have a few issues. So we need to deal with them one by one. Thank you for that, Lovable. Now we have a couple of issues. First up, the TikTok lead magnet has not been saved to the dashboard at all, so I cannot see whether or not the thumbnail was added. This is specifically the TikTok lead magnet for the PDF guide. So the TikTok PDF guide has not been saved to the dashboard at all. And click and refresh does nothing, so I don't believe it's saved. I did not generate a landing page, but nor should I have to, so it should automatically save. The other thing is, inside of the preview of the PDF guide generated by TikTok, the embedded video was a YouTube video and it was shown as blank, whereas the embed we need, or the thumbnail that we need inside of the preview, needs to be a TikTok video, obviously. And the same needs to be put into the live version as well. So we need to do the PDF functionality for TikTok. Thank you. So this is kind of a continuation of what we were doing yesterday, because we hadn't finished setting up all the PDF guide lead magnets for TikTok and Instagram. So we'll probably have to do it for TikTok and then have to do it again for Instagram. How do I get Sora 2 code? So go to my website, aiwithkyle.com, Sora 2 guide, like this. And so there's a couple of ways to get them, depending on where you are and what device you have. So it's kind of hard to tell without knowing where you are in the world. But there are sources for getting them there. So as I was saying, I'm in a group with most of the other AI creators, content creators in the space, so TikTok, Instagram, etc., YouTube, and all anyone's being asked this week is Sora code. Sora code. Give me a Sora code now. So all of our DMs are just full of people asking, and unfortunately, because everyone was only given 4, 5 or 6 Sora codes, not that many. We don't have that many left. They've all been given away. Oh, that's a big problem. Let's see what happens. So when something fully crashes like this, it will go to fix automatically because it knows it's messed up. Return statement is not allowed here. Not quite sure where the problem is, but it will be able to work it out. So there's a syntax error. Thankfully, it will work that out itself, or it should do. Yep, the Great Revolt has got it right. Go to the OpenAI Discord. So OpenAI have a Discord, an official Discord, and there's a channel in there called Sora 2 Codes, and people are dumping their codes in there. You have to be very fast because there's hundreds of other people watching. But if you have the code window open on one side and the OpenAI Discord open on the other side, and you quickly copy paste, you should be able to get in. You just need to be fast. Alves TS, if you're in the UK and you've got an iPhone, so in the UK you cannot get the application unless you change your Apple Store country, which is a bit of a faff. So what you're going to do instead is you're going to use a VPN, and you're going to go to the website on a browser. So you're going to go to sora.chatgpt.com. So you'll get not available in the United Kingdom, so you need to use a VPN to go to America, and then you go to this site and you'll be able to enter the code from there, but you cannot do it via the application if you are in the UK unless you change your region, and it's not really worth it. Okay, let's have a look and see if that works. Oh, you've changed the app. Okay, if you've already got the app, then you just need a Discord. You just need a code. So there's a couple of ways to get them. The official OpenAI Discord is probably the best. That's going to be the easiest. There's also a Reddit mega thread, this one here, where people are dropping codes. It's not as many, but there are codes in there. And then they have their own Discord from this mega thread, which is called something Guild, the AI programming and chat. This is another one where they're dropping codes in there. So you can go in there. There's also a mega thread over on Chambers where you can find more. I mean, there are places. You just need to be very fast and patient as well to try and grab one. But the OpenAI Discord is going to be your first port of call. Okay, so that's done. Let's have a go. So we're going to generate TikTok. Amir says, hey, I was wondering if web design is still a good skill to learn and sell. No, probably not, sorry. The AI tools are making it too easy to make web pages. Are they going to be the best web pages? Are they going to be the best designed? No, not necessarily. But a lot of people just want a fast web page. They were already using things like Squarespace and Wix. But even Squarespace and Wix are becoming easier because they can now be vibe coded. Like Wix purchased, it still didn't work. Purchased base 44 recently, so you can now vibe code inside of Wix. So I wouldn't recommend web design as a way to make money right now. It was good 10, 15 years ago, but now a bit of a problem. Right. What is going on? So there's a couple of things that's happening. I'm noticing when I'm in... Okay. Hey, Lovable, that is still not saving the PDF guide into the dashboard. So what I'm noticing is it creates the preview, and then when I click back from the preview, it's not taking me back to the dashboard as it would normally on the other lead magnets, but it takes me back to the the kind of the loading page. So I think I still don't think it's being saved into the database. Can you set up some logging, or can you check the logs, the existing logs, to work out what's going on, so we can make sure the content is actually created and saved? Thank you. Hey Kyle, do you think Sora 2 can be used for content creation? Yeah, sure, absolutely. What I would say is, there's a discussion about this earlier in the week. So Mr. Beast on Monday, he was talking about how content creators are about to get in a lot of trouble. So AI is coming and it's going to replace a lot of content creators, because you can make travel influencers, you can make streamers, etc. You can just fake them now, and even the ones that are a bit more difficult to do, like live streaming, we'll be able to do in a year or so. So the debate was about, well, what are content creators going to do? I think there are two ways. You either lean in and you really use AI, so you're not just using Sora 2 on the website and making one video at a time. No. You need to set up with the API, which is available at platform.openai.com. You're going to set up with the API from here, and you are going to make thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of videos, and you're going to spend money doing that. So each 10-second video costs about $1. So you're going to have to spend a decent amount of cash to get this done. And then you're going to set up multiple accounts, and you are just going to hammer with volume. So you use AI to get very high volume, very high watch count, and then you monetize based on the adverts that are going to be run. You cannot do that half-heartedly. Like, if you're just making a video or two on Sora and posting it, that's not going to be enough. It's going to be about volume, because there will be people who are just bot farming this stuff, and they have a server or multiple servers set up that are just hammering the API and setting up accounts. So I think that's one way. You go full in on AI, and then the other way is you go full in on the human. So it's about community, it's about doing lives, it's about talking to people, answering their questions, kind of being there for them, getting on stage, actually meeting people. So the leaning into the human element instead of into AI. I think you go in one direction or the other, but most people are going to get stuck in the middle, and that's going to be a very messy place to be moving forward, because AI will eat the lunch of a lot of content creators. So yes, you can 100% use Sora 2 for content creation, but you need to go at it so hard that you're basically recognizing that it is a volume game, and then you just go nuts. Let's use this. Mr. Beast believes AI is going to leave millions. So I'm going to do it from the dashboard. TikTok, there we go. So you need to be ready to spend some money if you want to set up an AI channel. But it's fine, it's just a business like any others. Why do some people use Rock and Cursor while some only use Cursor to do mobile apps? So all the different tools are good at different things. I'm using Lovable in particular here because it's very easy, and it's useful to show people who have no idea how to vibe code how to get started. I'm also using Cursor after this stream for other projects, and Claude Code. They're all good at different things, and it kind of depends what you want to build. Okay, cool. So we've got the video. So what I highly recommend is you talk to Claude, you go to Claude outside of Cursor, outside of Lovable, and you say, hey, this is what I want to build. I want it to be on these platforms. My customers are these kind of people. This is my budget. This is kind of how I want to host it. This is what it would do. You explain what you want to build, and then you say, what's the best tech stack for this? And if it's a mobile forward app rather than a web app, then it will be one stack, and you're going to be using certain tools. Like if you're deploying on iPhone, for example, you're probably going to use Xcode. There are ways to make a progressive web app and then wrap it up, and then basically you talk to an AI to work out what your development process is going to be, and you say, look, what vibe coding tool should I use? And you use the kind of research to find out what's going to be best for you. Okay, so this has now generated the preview. Let's see if it's saved. Boom, there we go, it has saved. So Mr. Beast thinks AI. So I'm still getting the 404 error, but we have saved it in here. Cool. We can generate a landing page. Yeah. So we're getting there. And the TikTok thumbnail has been added. So a couple of things. Let's deal with our 404s and then we'll swing back and do Instagram. Great, that worked. Thank you so much. One thing on all of the PDF guide lead magnets, when I click on view lead magnet from the dashboard, I'm getting a 404. That counts for TikTok. That counts for YouTube. I have not tested Instagram, but this is specific to the PDF guides in particular. They are 404ing. Checklists are fine. Oh, the quizzes are also 404ing. So checklist was the one that we spent the most time on, and I think the functionality is there, but the quizzes and the PDFs are not accessible via the dashboard. They're leading to 404s. Thank you. Okay, this is a big problem, obviously, so we'll deal with this one. But Cursor, which you mentioned, is very good. Cursor is my kind of tool of choice. I'll show you what it looks like though. You won't be able to see it if you're on YouTube, sorry, but if you are on TikTok, you can see it. It's just a lot more complex looking. So it gives you a huge amount of power. But if you've never coded before in your life and you open up Cursor, it's incredibly intimidating. So I highly recommend people start with Lovable. They start with Bolt. You build a few projects. You kind of get used to the concept of development and what the steps are and how you do it properly, and then you can move over to Cursor. But I've met people who started with Cursor and immediately they're like, oh god, no, I can't vibe code. This is terrifying. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do any of this. Whereas Lovable, if you haven't seen what Lovable looks like, the front page of Lovable looks like this. It looks like ChatGPT. Front page of Bolt. What's going on? It looks like this. It looks like ChatGPT. So nice and simple. So I highly recommend people start there and then move on to using Cursor if you need to, and move on to using Claude Code, etc. again if you need to. But it depends what you're building. There are many people, and there's always somebody on the live who will come in and say, oh, you shouldn't be using this, you should use this tool. This tool's better. Yeah, probably. But it's certain tools, even if they're better, are incredibly difficult to start using for new users, for beginners, which is why we're doing it this way. There will still be somebody to come and tell me that. There's a lot of gatekeeping, unfortunately. I found the issue. The lead magnet card is trying to navigate to routes that don't exist. Yep, that will do it. I need to add routes for viewing the quiz and the PDF guides with ID parameters. Don't know why I haven't done that, but okay. The one problem I do have with Lovable is I'm never quite sure what model it's using. So I want it to be using Sonnet 4.5. If I boot up Cursor, I have it set in, can't quite see it, but down there, Sonnet 4.5. Because that is pretty much the best model right now. Maybe Codex, but it's very, very good, Sonnet 4.5. But Lovable won't necessarily tell me what it's in. So you can actually ask it to say, hey, what version of Claude are you? And it might say, oh, I'm, 4.2. Is it 4.2? What was the last one? I forget. Which is a little bit annoying. Whereas with Cursor, you have a lot more control over what model you're using. You pay more because you're using a better model, but at least it's going to work. So fixed. I've added routes, for viewing PDF guides and quizzes by ID. I'm going to go ahead and have a look at that. And if that works, then we're going to move on to Instagram, get that working with the PDF guide. So we're basically finishing up what we did yesterday, which is getting the third lead magnet working. And then we need to fix this because it isn't actually working with TikTok. Yep, let's go again. And every time I do this, it's costing a little bit of money. $0.0001, for example, but it does cost a little bit of money. So when I launch it, and if it is popular, It's a good problem to have, but there will be costs associated with this. Okay, so that has created this. These are also editable, but we'll test that later. Back to dashboard. Okay, I shouldn't have done the same one. That was stupid. Okay, that worked. Let's see if the previous ones work. I doubt it. Oh no, there we go. So it is reconnected all of these previous lead magnets. So let's see if it's done quizzes. Cool. So it's got the quizzes. It's got the PDF guides for TikTok and for YouTube. So we're good to go. Let's move on and fix Instagram. Turn a Google Sheet. Should do Joshua. Who should we take? I do Joshua. I'm going to grab this from you, Joshua. Go and follow Joshua if you're not. And then we're going to come back to here. Now, I haven't tested the Instagram thing for a while, so it probably won't work. And I haven't tested it on the PDF guides, so it definitely won't work. But if it does, hey, it's always a nice surprise. If you're a novice when it comes to app creation, is it still worth trying given the costs? Yeah. So I mean, Lovable is $25 a month, which gives you 100 credits, and that would deal with your hosting as well afterwards. You can find cheaper hosting packages as well because you can host it yourself. Okay, so it generated. It hasn't done the thumbnail, but that's fine. So that actually did work. Let's go back to the dashboard and see if it saved it. It did. That's Instagram, 200 words, 1 lead magnet, generated, a few lead magnet. It worked. Okay. I'm sorry, Lovable. I didn't know you had game. So we just need to fix that Instagram thumbnail. Great, that's looking good. Those now work, so thank you for that. One more thing, the Instagram thumbnails are not being pulled through to the dashboard or into the previews or into the live lead magnets. So we need to add Instagram thumbnails. Thank you. If you're a novice when it comes to app creation, is it worth it trying the cost? Yeah, I would say it's the way you learn. There will be a cost associated with it. There's a cost with all AI, honestly. But the only way to not be a novice is to try it out and play around with it. So there is a free account for Lovable, but it only gives you 5 credits a day, so it's relatively limited, but it's enough to kind of start playing around with, and see if it clicks with you. For some people, once they do it for the first time, they're like, oh my god, this is amazing, I can make software, it's really cool. But if it doesn't click for you, if you don't find it exciting, then it's not a problem. You don't need to learn it, but there will always be a cost because it's always going to be running on an AI model. What you could do, because I know somebody's about to jump in and say, oh, you can self-host, blah blah blah, you can download an open source model. You can install it using something like Ollama. So if you're on Mac, you'd use Ollama, and then you would deploy a local model, and you'd use something like DeepSeek R1, and then you can use that for coding. You can do all of that. What you're doing at that point is, well, you're very much slowing down the process, because you're not going to be using Sonnet 4.5 or GPT-5 or one of the high-end models. DeepSeek's still good, but not as good. You are also giving yourself a lot more technical tasks that need to be done before you just start vibe coding. So I highly recommend just getting a $20 a month account for a month or two and see how it treats you and go from there, because you can be cheaper, but it requires a lot more hoops and hurdles to jump through, and at the end of the day the result won't be better than if you just pay. Thumbnail Instagrams from their CDN offer expire. Okay, so we need to grab them. How much are credits on Lovable? Depends. So credits are, I spend about, oh, it's still going. I spend about $200 a month, but I have loads of credits now. So I'm getting 800 credits a month, but for $25 a month you get 100 credits a month. $50 gets you 200 credits, etc., etc. Which, whether or not that's a lot for you, kind of depends on your business and your financial situation. For me, it's cheap because it's compared that to hiring a developer. If I was hiring a developer to build this stuff, or if I spent my time building it by hand, that is a lot more expensive for me. So for me, this is an easy cost. Okay, so it might be that they expire. So I think we're going to save them into the database instead. That will create problems down the line. If we're saving lots of thumbnails, it's going to take up space. But I'm going to worry about that later. So we'll grab another video. Jason, Rowan looking very handsome. Good job, Rowan. Let's grab Adam. Thank you, Adam. I know all these people, it's okay. I don't think they'll mind them creating lead magnets from their content. Hell, I'll send them the lead magnets later. So that is a business use case of this tool in particular, is you can find a creator, someone like Adam. Adam has got how many? 50,000 followers here. TikTok he's got a lot more, a couple of 100,000. And I could say to Adam, look, for every video you put out, so you're doing one a day, one every couple of days, I'll create you a lead magnet, and you can put that lead magnet in your video, and people can DM it, or they can comment a certain word in order to get that lead magnet. So somebody who does this really well is Sabrina. So pretty much every single one of Sabrina's posts you can DM something. So yeah, sorry, you can comment. So if you want, where is it? If you comment the word Sabrina, then she'll send you something. So we could make a lead magnet off Sabrina's video, and she can then say, hey, if you comment Sabrina, I'll send you this lead magnet. Sorry, Kaon, how much are credits on Lovable? That's how much they cost. How many you use, that's the big question. So the update I just did, or the push, cost me 2.8 credits. So if I was on the $20 a month plan, that would be almost 3%. So 20 times 0.03. So that cost me 60 cents, for example, doing that change just there, which is a lot more than if I was doing it directly via the API. But it's still relatively low. Okay, let's have a look. Getting some security issues, but I'll deal with them in a minute. Oh, hey, Adam. I was just talking about you. How did you do that? I've got you on my other screen. So, Adam, I just made a lead magnet of one of your videos. I hope you don't mind. That's so funny. I'll send it to you. Okay, that is not working. So why is that not pulling in the thumbnail? So we're having an issue with the Instagram thumbnails in particular because of, yeah, they have thumbnail URLs from their CDN offer and expire. However, we've just pulled it, so it shouldn't expire in seconds or have course restrictions. It's probably this. So I've updated the code to better handle Instagram thumbnails, added error handling when they failed to load, and show a fallback icon. It's still not working. So what we need to do, it's going to talk to it in chat. That still hasn't worked. The fallback is good. I can see the Instagram icon rather than the missing or the broken image. Can I check? Are we saving these into our database, or are you using links from Instagram directly? Because if we need to pull them into our database so we can serve them up locally, that's going to be the way to do it. But can you confirm that for me? Thanks. Yeah. So Adam, what I'm building is the ability, I'll show it to you quickly because you're here. The ability to put in a YouTube URL, a TikTok URL, an Instagram URL, or blog article, and that will create a lead magnet specific to that piece of content. So here we go. I had one talking about Mr. Beast, thinking about AI as a threat to content creators, and I created a PDF guide based on it. So it creates a quick lead magnet, a quick summary of what it is, and then from that we can actually generate a landing page. So this is a PDF guide about how to paint the exterior of your house. So this could sit underneath this video, which has how many views? 130,000 views. He can place a link under here saying, hey, do you want a PDF guide? Do you want a checklist? Do you want a quiz related to this that will help you to paint the exterior of your house? So we can create this from the transcript of the video. It has the action points, blah, blah, blah. But more than that, we can create a landing page. So we can update that landing page and create that landing page. Oh, failed to create a landing page. Good, we found a bug. And then from that landing page, we can, I'll show you what they look like, generate leads directly. So this is what one looks like. There we go. Get your free maximizing earnings with Neon, a comprehensive guide. You give in your email address, you get sent the lead magnet. So it allows people to make individual lead magnets from each and every single one of their videos. So instead of having a generic, hey, sign up for, you know, how to use AI for dummies, you can have a call to action for every single video, which is kind of cool. UI reeks of generic. Yes, that's because I haven't done any UI work. That is last on my list. I want to get the functionality done. Also, for the beta test, I don't care about the UI. As long as it's functional and people can use it and they don't run into huge errors, that's fine. What we'll do is once it's proven to be valuable to the market and people actually give a damn and want to use it, and once money's coming in, I will just hire a designer and have them redo the whole thing. Lovable in particular is quite bad for this. It always creates websites that look the same. I got rid of the gradients because they love their purple gradients, but otherwise yeah, it's very generic looking. It's honestly though, we don't want to spend too much time faffing around with the UI and button colors and button sizes before we have got it out to market and people have said, yeah, this is kind of cool, this is something that I could see myself using. We want to work out that market fit first before we worry too much. I know so many people who spend months like tinkering with their websites, and they're doing it all based on what they think looks good, which is not valuable from a business point of view. So the CDN URLs are temporary. They expire after a period of time. That shouldn't be a problem because we've done it immediately. Protected, that's probably the issue. They have authentication tokens. We're not hot linking. Yeah, we need to download. Yep, okay. You're going to make a storage bucket for me. So this is a bit of a pain because this means we're going to end up storing all of these thumbnails from Instagram, which is fine when there's like 100 of them. Not fine when there are, 10,000. If this is successful, then we'll end up with a lot of Instagram thumbnails stored on a server, which leads to storage cost and we're slowing down when we're accessing the correct file, etc., etc. So we just need to be. I'm going to do this for now, again, for the beta test, and then that's something that, again, if this is successful and people actually want it, we can deal with later. But I'm already now flagging it up as a could be an issue later. In terms of prompting an AI to create a unique looking design, it's tricky because what it thinks of as unique will be generic, if that makes sense. So one of the best things you can do is you can go and find examples. So you go and find websites you like. This is what you do when you work with a designer anyway. They'll ask you like, hey, what sites do you like? What sites don't you like? In order to get a grasp of what your style is. And then you compile them all into a document. So you bring them all into Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, and you say, hey, these are the visual references I want to use. I like the navigation elements from this one. I like the use of white space from this one. I love the fonts from this one, etc. And you can work with an AI in order to come up with a style guide. Obviously, doing this with a professional designer is always going to be better because they have taste. AIs don't. But that gets you a style guide which you can then apply to your vibe coded app in order to make it at least not look like it was made in Lovable, because it has a certain flavor to it which is very easy to spot. Okay, so it's now I didn't ask you to store TikTok thumbnails, but let's go ahead and see if it's done the Instagram thumbnails. Who should we do now? Whitney, Ross, do Maverick. Go and follow all these people, by the way. Go over to here, dashboard, Instagram, Maverick, generate. Okay, we are at 40 minutes. Then there are a few other bits and pieces we need to tidy up, and then tomorrow we'll be finalizing like the onboarding, the user accounts, and then I'll launch on Saturday. I will probably cheat a bit tomorrow and push ahead and tidy things up off stream, but it would be boring stuff, so you're not missing anything. But the promise I did make was I'm going to spend 1 hour a day for 30 days doing this, but there will be some extra. Okay, so we have the thumbnail, and that has been stored locally in my Superbase. So what I'd quite like to see is Superbase. I need to go and see the storage. It goes in one of these buckets, video thumbnails. This one. So that is 40 kilobytes. That's fine. My big concern was that it was going to be downloading images that were a couple of megabytes, and then we'd have to work out how to compress them, and I'm okay with that. It's not the end of the world. That's not going to kill me. So I don't think we need the TikTok one, so because previously, so there's Maverick, previously it grabbed the TikTok ones and it was fine. I'm going to leave that for now because it's pretty small, and YouTube, those are displaying fine. So Instagram works. Let's click the lead magnet. That works. So now they're all working for the PDF guide. TikTok's working, Instagram's working, YouTube is working. Text, I haven't actually tested. I might actually take it off because it's not important. What I do need to do is fix that front dashboard. So let's try it with Instagram, see if that works. Okay. Oh, Instagram. No. Okay. So we'll fix this up. Oops, a daisy. Thanks, Lovable. So on the home page, so not /dashboard, but the kind of root directory, the select content source and the URL field does not work. They're all set to YouTube. So when I put in a TikTok URL or an Instagram URL, it's saying this is an invalid YouTube URL. So I think it's trying to use the YouTube scraper and the YouTube lead magnet generator rather than the other one. So we need to adjust that. However, we need to take into account the fact that they're able to do this without setting up an account. So we need to be a bit careful about this. So let's discuss it first. So this one's a bit tricky because I want them to be able to do this without having an account. So this is incognito. I'm signed out. So it definitely fails. That's fine. But it's a slightly different generator to the one we have in the dashboard because it allows for anonymous usage. And the reason I want to do that is I want people to come onto the site and be able to generate ideas for free. It costs me, I don't know, a couple of cents every time they do that. It could be open to abuse. Somebody could come on and generate 10,000 ideas and cost me hundreds and hundreds. It's unlikely, and I can set up IP blocking, for example, to deal with that. But basically every time someone uses this, I will lose a little bit of money, but it allows them to at least see the basics and to move them into a sign-up flow. Okay, let's have a look. Good catch. Let's investigate the homepage content input system. Perfect. I can see the issue now. This is very Claude, by the way. The perfect, or you're absolutely right. I can see the issue now. Let me also check the anonymous generation functions. Yes, I can see the full picture. Let me see if there's an older component that might still be in use. Perfect. So I've identified the root cause. You have 2 different content. No, I have 4. So only supports YouTube and text. Uses a single text area. The auto text. Okay. Yep. So we need to multi-selector supports YouTube, text, TikTok. Yes. Okay. So it has separate input fields for each content type. Yes. 100%. Proper validation already works correctly. So I can see you're currently using multi-content selector. However, based on your report that they're all set to YouTube, it sounds like there might be a UI issue. Yes, okay, we're fine. So are you seeing the content selector? Yes, I am seeing the content type selector buttons. When I click on them, the input field does change. And so I can see the dummy URL in there. When you paste a TikTok URL, which content type button? So we haven't got it, so it adjusts based on the URL for your third question. So I think that's irrelevant. So I think it's just a routing issue. So I'm going to provide that information and let it rip. Why not make a website design? What do you mean? So I'm not building a website, I'm building a web app. You can build websites using vibe coding tools. It's not really the best use of them. They're very good at making web apps. And also something like Lovable, when you make a website. So one of the problems with Lovable in particular is it uses the kind of frameworks and the languages it uses are server-side rendering, so they will not show up in Google very well. So Lovable is actually not very good for just making websites because it won't rank well on Google. Why use them instead of learning? So learning to become a software developer takes years. And for a lot of people, they do not want to spend the years becoming a software developer because they do not want to go into that as a job. So for a lot of people who just want to build something, either for themselves, like a productivity tool, or they want to build something that they're going to sell because they've had an idea for years, but they don't know how to get it built. Vibe coding allows them to do that. So it opens up a lot more possibilities. Yeah, sure, anyone can train and become a software developer, but that's going to take years to do. And it's only really worthwhile if you want that to be your job. What's really exciting about vibe coding is that you can have another job and you can start a business on the side by building something that's going to be valuable. So for entrepreneurs, vibe coding is extremely exciting. But it doesn't change the fact that, sure, you can just learn to code 100%. What I've been seeing though is people start with vibe coding and it almost acts as a gateway drug into learning how to code, because you're kind of backing your way in, because you start to build here and then suddenly you find out things like, oh, you need to save it, you need to push it to GitHub, and you're like, what the hell is GitHub? And then so you learn what GitHub is, and then you learn about, oh, you need to install these dependencies. It's like, what the hell is a dependency? Or what's a backend? What's a super base edge function, etc. So you start to have to learn these things in order to progress. So it's almost like a stealthy way into learning software development. And then for some people, they'll be like, okay, I'm actually going to learn Python. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work out this whole Python thing. So we're going to use Maverick's video again. We're going to do it in the anonymous function here. Okay, that's better. Nope, invalid URL format. So it still thinks it's a YouTube. That's interesting. I don't have any console errors in here. What I'm going to do is make sure I'm definitely on the right. It's Instagram. That's definitely saying the same thing. I'm pretty sure I updated, but I'm going to update again because sometimes I don't push the change because I'm talking to camera, and then I make a mistake of thinking something should have changed and it actually hasn't, and then that leads me down the pathway of relaying the wrong information back to Lovable. Okay, so we're still not getting that working. Let's try one with TikTok. TikTok. Nope, same. Looking at the code, I found the issue. The multi-selector component uses separate state variables. Okay, but the validation checks all conditions sequentially. Validation flows through multiple if statements instead of using an else if. So here we go. Here's a fundamental programming concept, which, if you want to learn more about, this would be the time to do so. Okay. Why do we do that instead of, because each of these should be a separate field. Okay, that still does not work. Both the Instagram and the TikTok generators, when I enter a correct URL for that content type, are returning an error saying invalid YouTube URL format. Is there any particular reason why we need to run them all through the same component, and we can't just have one component which is a YouTube button and a YouTube field, a text button and a text field, TikTok button, TikTok field, an Instagram button, Instagram field? Do we need to run them through the same logic, or is that because it's an anonymous function and we want to retain? Tell me if I'm wrong, but there might be a simpler way to do this. Did your book cover get generated by ChatGPT? No, it did not. Any advice for someone trying to make an app with PDF merging functionality? What do you mean specifically? Like bringing a couple of PDFs together, or like overlaying content on one page? I would say, whatever you're trying to build, go and ask Claude this question. So explain exactly what it is you want to do, and talk to an AI and go back and forward with it to work out the best way to do it. You can tell it your limitations, like what you can work with, what you have available, where you want to host it, for example. You can give it all that information and it will be able to come up with a project plan. Then you take that project plan over to whatever the tool is. So you're doing this project on the side while also teaching companies about AI as your main job. Yeah, so I have probably about 6 or 7 different revenue streams, so different ways to make money. So yes, going and teaching companies. This thing that I'm building is, well, one, to get more people into vibe coding, so it's content, so I get paid for my content sometimes. 2, if I build this actual product into something that people want, then yeah, that will be additional money for me. But what I'm going to be doing over the next, well, continuously, is once a month just building and launching a new product like this. And most of them will not work. Most of them nobody will care about, nobody will want. That's fine. That's part of entrepreneurship. Whereas some of them will kick off and make some money. So this is just, I'm adding another potential revenue stream via a micro SaaS. So the root problem, you're routing Instagram and TikTok through generate lead magnets OAuth. Yes, we got rid of the OAuth. So we have to get rid of the OAuth. We're no longer using the official YouTube API in order to get even the YouTube transcripts. We're using the Apify actors instead. So that is the reason we need to clear out all of that OAuth nonsense. That was from a previous build, and I think you're seeing some legacy code because of that. So what you should do is go and have a look at the generator inside of the dashboard, because that functions, and see what the difference are. The main thing though is that we need to have anonymous users on this front end, which we've already managed to secure for YouTube. So don't use option 3. We don't want to use more OAuth. Let's use option 1. Thank you. Okay, Okay, so I've asked it to give me a couple of different options so I can read through and work out what's going on. I do this because it doesn't always know what's happening in all parts of the project. It might have misremembered parts from earlier. So we still need to put in input. So Amir, yeah, this is a side project basically. But I personally make money from content, sponsorships, although I don't do very many at all. But companies pay good money to sponsor videos on TikTok and Instagram, a couple of $1,000 for a 30-second video. I don't really do any of them. Giving workshops, doing advisory and consultation work, selling courses, gosh, there's probably some other bits and pieces, coaching. Okay, I'll check the dashboard, handles generation and route the content. I'll update the homepage to route all. Okay, so now it's going through the anonymous functions, which is the whole purpose of this front page. How are we for time? We're running out. What software is this? This is Lovable, which is a vibe coding tool. Come on. Okay, let's give it another shot. And if not, it's probably going to be the end for now, which is annoying. So I'm on the main dashboard, Instagram. Ah, is it because I'm signed in? Okay, that is working now, but I need to test it in anonymous. So come to here, because we want anyone to be able to generate. Okay, so that did work from that front page. That's good. So let's see if it works anonymously. Yes, that looks good. Normally it would fail immediately. Oh, sorry, YouTube, you can't see it, but it is working. Cool. Okay, so the anonymous function works for Instagram. Let's quickly check it for I've forgotten the actual website. There we go. I need to actually name this product. I haven't got a name for it, so I need to find a name and grab a URL for it. So I'm going to quickly test the anonymous function for TikTok, see if that works. And if so, we're looking pretty good. Cool. So anonymous works. Yeah, we're in a good position. We're in a very good position. All of the different lead magnet generators work. Tomorrow I basically need to finish up the sign up flow, make sure, like test it a bunch, see what goes wrong. Probably add the ability to sign up using a Gmail account, just because it's a bit easier for people than having to type out. But otherwise, we are looking good. Everything is rocking and rolling. So we're able to generate lead magnets. The images get saved. And we can view the lead magnets. That was broken earlier. We can, oh, what happened there? Oh, it's a different page. We can generate landing pages. Cool. We are in a good place right now, which is good because we only have one day left. So I'm going to go and push tomorrow. Awesome. Right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be back tomorrow to continue building. Final day, 30 out of 30. And then launching to my newsletter on Saturday. So having this deadline is really useful because it makes me get it done. So Saturday, if you want to get access to this, it'll be free. Join the newsletter, which is also free, and I'm going to be posting out beta code so you can get access. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, and see you tomorrow.